There are feelings we carry that never see the light of day, emotions we hold so close to our hearts that they become part of our internal landscape, shaping how we move through the world even though no one else can see them. We walk around with these hidden truths living inside us, feelings for people who may or may not suspect that we see them as anything more than what we claim to see them as. We smile and laugh and maintain perfectly normal relationships with people we are secretly in love with, performing normalcy so convincingly that even we sometimes forget we are performing at all. We become experts at hiding what we feel because the alternative, speaking the truth out loud, carries risks that feel too great to take. Some people can be casual about their feelings, can shrug off attraction as something temporary that will pass with time or distance. But others cannot be so casual, cannot dismiss what they feel as something insignificant or fleeting. For these people, the feelings grow deeper and more complicated with every interaction, every conversation, every moment spent in the presence of the person they have secretly come to love. And yet they stay silent, day after day, month after month, sometimes year after year, carrying feelings that become heavier with time, but somehow easier to bear than the terrifying prospect of actually revealing them. But eventually, for reasons that vary from person to person, the silence becomes unsustainable. Something shifts, some internal calculus changes, and the person who has been harboring secret feelings decides that the risk of speaking is finally less than the cost of continuing to stay quiet. They prepare themselves for the most vulnerable moment of their life, for the confession that will either open the door to something beautiful or permanently alter a relationship they have treasured. They get ready to disclose feelings they have kept hidden for so long, and in doing so, they must confront all the reasons why they stayed silent in the first place. This is the story of Cameron, a 28-year-old man who had been secretly in love with his best friend Sophia for almost 3 years, carrying feelings so deep and so constant that they had become part of who he was, shaping his choices and his life in ways both obvious and subtle, until the day he finally decided that loving her in silence was no longer something he could continue to do, no matter how terrifying the alternative might be. Cameron and Sophia had met during their first year of graduate school, thrown together as study partners in a particularly difficult statistics course that neither of them was naturally gifted at understanding. They had bonded over their shared confusion and frustration, spending long hours in the library, trying to make sense of concepts that felt designed to be incomprehensible. What started as a practical partnership born of academic necessity had quickly evolved into a genuine friendship built on shared humor, complementary personalities, and the easy comfort of two people who just naturally got along. By the end of that first semester, Cameron and Sophia were best friends, the kind of close friends who talked every day and made plans together multiple times a week, and knew details about each other's lives that no one else knew. They would grab coffee between classes, study together at each other's apartments, go out for late-night food when they needed breaks from academic stress. Their friendship felt effortless and valuable to both of them, a rare connection that made the challenges of graduate school more bearable and the good moments more enjoyable. For the first few months, Cameron saw Sophia purely as a friend, someone he enjoyed spending time with, but had no romantic interest in. She was attractive, certainly, but Cameron was dating someone else at the time, and was not looking at other women in that way. He appreciated having a female friend who was just a friend, someone he could be close to without any of the complications or expectations that came with romantic feelings. Their friendship felt pure and uncomplicated, and Cameron valued it as something separate from the romantic parts of his life. But then something changed. so gradually that Cameron did not even notice it happening until it had already happened. His relationship with his girlfriend ended after she graduated and moved across the country for a job opportunity. Cameron was sad about the breakup, but not devastated, and he found himself leaning on Sophia for support and distraction during the adjustment period. They spent even more time together than usual, and Cameron started noticing things about Sophia that he had somehow not paid attention to before. The way her eyes crinkled when she laughed at something genuinely funny. The thoughtful way she listened when he talked, asking follow-up questions that showed she was really paying attention. The kindness she showed to everyone around her, from the barista making her coffee to the stressed-out undergraduates asking for help in the library. Cameron found himself looking forward to seeing Sophia more than he looked forward to anything else in his life. He would check his phone, hoping for messages from her. He would find excuses to stop by her apartment or invite her to his. He started noticing what she wore, how she styled her hair, the small changes in her mood that most people would not pick up on. He felt happier when she was around, and slightly empty when she was not. And one day, several months after his previous relationship had ended, Cameron was walking across campus after spending the afternoon with Sophia, and he had this sudden crystallizing realization that stopped him in his tracks. He was in love with his best friend. The realization was both exhilarating and terrifying. Exhilarating because it explained so much about how he had been feeling, why Sophia had become so central to his life and his happiness. Terrifying because he had no idea if she felt anything similar, and the prospect of finding out felt impossibly risky. Cameron immediately started analyzing every interaction they had ever had, looking for signs that Sophia might see him as more than just a friend. Sometimes he convinced himself he saw evidence of mutual feelings. The way she would touch his arm when she was talking. The way she always seemed happy to see him. The inside jokes and the easy intimacy of their friendship. But then he would doubt himself, would remind himself that all those things could just be normal friendship behaviors, that he was probably seeing what he wanted to see rather than what was actually there. Sophia had never indicated any romantic interest in him. She talked to him about other guys she found attractive, asked his advice about dating situations, treated him like the platonic best friend he was supposed to be. Cameron would swing between hope and despair, between moments of thinking maybe she feels it too, and moments of being certain he was deluding himself. The rational thing to do, Cameron knew, would be to just tell Sophia how he felt. But every time he considered it, every time he imagined actually saying the words out loud, he was paralyzed by fear. Not just fear of rejection, though that was certainly part of it, but fear of losing Sophia entirely. Because she was not just someone he was attracted to, she was his best friend, the most important person in his life. The one he talked to about everything and relied on for support and connection. If he told her how he felt, and she did not feel the same way, what would happen to their friendship? Cameron had watched this scenario play out with other people he knew. A friend confesses romantic feelings, the other person does not reciprocate, and suddenly the friendship is awkward and strained and eventually dies from the weight of unreciprocated feelings and uncomfortable knowledge that cannot be unknown. The thought of losing Sophia like that was unbearable. Cameron decided he would rather have her in his life as just a friend than risk losing her completely by confessing feelings she might not return. So he made the choice to stay silent, to keep his feelings hidden, to continue being the best friend she needed him to be, even if it meant never being anything more. This decision brought some relief, but also created a constant low-level pain that Cameron learned to live with. He was in love with someone he could not have, someone he spent almost every day with, someone he knew intimately in every way, except the one way he desperately wanted. He watched Sophia go on dates with other men and had to smile and be supportive when she talked about them, even though it felt like knives in his chest. He gave her advice about her relationships, even though the advice he wanted to give was forget about those guys and be with me instead. He maintained the performance of being just her friend so convincingly that Sophia never seemed to suspect anything was different. Months turned into a year, then 2 years, then approaching 3 years of Cameron carrying these feelings in silence. Graduate school ended, and both Cameron and Sophia found jobs in the same city, which meant their friendship continued and even deepened as they both navigated the transition to professional life. They were still each other's primary source of support and companionship, still the first person each of them called when something good or bad happened. To the outside world, they looked like best friends who were remarkably close. To Cameron, it felt like he was living a double life, pretending to be something he was not, hiding the most important truth about himself from the most important person in his life. The reason behind Cameron's secrecy was complex and multi-layered. It was fear, certainly. Fear of rejection, and fear of losing Sophia, and fear of making her uncomfortable or putting her in an awkward position. But it was also timing. For much of the 3 years Cameron had been in love with Sophia, she had been in a serious relationship with someone else, which made any confession of feelings feel inappropriate and disrespectful. Even after that relationship ended, there always seemed to be something that made it the wrong moment. Sophia was stressed about work, or dealing with family issues, or going through things that made adding Cameron's feelings to her plate seem selfish and burdensome. The reason behind Cameron's secrecy was also doubt. Despite spending more time with Sophia than anyone else in his life, despite knowing her better than almost anyone knew her, Cameron still could not tell if she felt anything romantic toward him. He would analyze their interactions endlessly, looking for signs and finding evidence that supported whatever he was hoping or fearing in that particular moment. Sometimes he was convinced she must feel something too, because of the way she looked at him or the intimacy of their connection. Other times he was certain he was deluding himself, that she saw him as nothing more than a friend, and he was reading far too much into normal friendship behaviors. The reason behind Cameron's secrecy was also insecurity. When Cameron looked at Sophia, he saw someone incredible, someone beautiful and smart, and kind and funny, someone who could have anyone she wanted. When he looked at himself, he saw someone ordinary, someone with no particularly special qualities that would make him stand out as a romantic prospect. He wondered why someone like Sophia would choose him when she had other options, men who were more confident, or more successful, or more traditionally attractive. This insecurity made staying silent feel safer than risking confirmation that he was not good enough for her. But most of all, the reason behind Cameron's secrecy was that Sophia mattered too much to risk losing her. She was not just a crush or someone he was casually interested in. She was his best friend, his person, the one who made his life better just by being in it. Cameron had calculated over and over that having Sophia in his life as just a friend was better than not having her in his life at all. So he had chosen silence, chosen to protect their friendship, even at the cost of his own emotional honesty. Chosen the certainty of what they had over the uncertain possibility of something more. But then something happened that changed Cameron's calculus. That made staying silent feel more impossible and more painful than the risk of speaking up. That pushed him to the point where he was finally prepared to disclose the feelings he had harbored for Sophia for almost 3 years, regardless of the consequences. Sophia started dating someone new, a man she had met through work, who seemed nice enough from Cameron's limited interactions with him. Sophia was excited about this relationship in a way Cameron had not seen her excited about previous relationships. She talked about this man constantly, made plans that included him in her future, seemed to be falling in love in real time, right in front of Cameron's eyes. And Cameron, watching this happen, realized he was about to lose his chance completely, if he had any chance at all. He could continue staying silent, continue being the supportive best friend, while Sophia built a life with someone else, continue carrying his feelings alone, until they eventually faded, or until Sophia got so wrapped up in her relationship that their friendship naturally drifted apart. Or he could finally, after 3 years of silence, tell her the truth. Tell her that he had been in love with her for years. Tell her that he had stayed quiet because he was scared of losing her. But that staying quiet while watching her commit to someone else felt like losing her anyway. Tell her that he knew the timing was terrible and that she might not feel the same way, but that he needed her to know before it was too late. And this truth became something he would carry and regret for the rest of his life. The decision to finally speak up was one of the hardest Cameron had ever made. He spent weeks working up the courage, rehearsing what he would say, trying to find the right words to express 3 years of hidden feelings without overwhelming Sophia or making her feel guilty or pressured. He knew this conversation would change everything between them, that there was no going back once he said the words out loud. Their friendship would never be quite the same again, regardless of how Sophia responded. But the alternative, staying silent forever, had started to feel worse than any outcome that might come from honesty. Cameron asked Sophia to meet him for coffee on a Saturday afternoon, saying he needed to talk to her about something important. Sophia agreed immediately, probably thinking Cameron was dealing with some work issue or personal problem that he needed advice about. They met at their usual coffee shop, the same place they had been meeting for years, and Cameron felt like his heart was going to beat out of his chest as they sat down at their usual corner table. He started by telling Sophia how much her friendship meant to him, how important she had been to his life for the past 3 years, how much he valued what they had together. Sophia smiled and said she felt the same way, that Cameron was her best friend, and she could not imagine her life without him. And then Cameron took a deep breath and said the thing he had been too scared to say for 3 years. He told her he was in love with her, had been in love with her for most of their friendship, had stayed quiet because he was terrified of losing her, but could not stay quiet anymore while watching her build a future with someone else. He explained all the reasons behind his secrecy, the fear and the doubt and the insecurity and the timing that had never seemed right. He told her he was not trying to pressure her or make her feel obligated to respond in any particular way. He just needed her to know the truth. What Cameron did not know, what he could not have known until this exact moment, was that Sophia had been harboring her own secret feelings, her own complicated emotions, that she had been too scared to voice for many of the same reasons that had kept Cameron silent. She had fallen for Cameron too, somewhere along the way, had been too afraid to say anything because she valued their friendship too much to risk it. Had convinced herself that he only saw her as a friend, despite moments when she thought maybe she saw something more in how he looked at her, or how he showed up for her. Sophia had started dating her current boyfriend, partly because she was trying to move on from her feelings for Cameron, trying to invest in a relationship with someone who was available and interested, rather than continuing to pine for someone she assumed did not feel the same way. But hearing Cameron's confession, understanding that all this time he had been feeling what she had been feeling, that they had both been silent for the same reasons, protecting the same friendship from the same fears, it broke something open in Sophia that she had been keeping carefully locked away. She started crying, which terrified Cameron until she explained through tears that she felt the same way, had felt the same way for longer than she had admitted even to herself, had been too scared to say anything, for all the same reasons he had been scared. They sat there in that coffee shop, both crying and laughing and trying to process the fact that they had wasted 3 years being scared of losing each other when they could have been together all along. The relief and joy and overwhelming emotion of that moment was something neither of them would ever forget. The moment when fear finally gave way to honesty, and honesty opened the door to everything they had both been too scared to hope for. Their relationship changed after that conversation, transformed from a friendship built on hidden feelings and careful boundaries into a romantic partnership built on complete honesty and mutual vulnerability. They had to navigate the early stages of being together, had to learn how to be romantic partners in addition to being best friends, had to integrate the physical and emotional intimacy they had been denying themselves for years. It was not always easy because changing the nature of such an important relationship never is. But it was right in a way that both Cameron and Sophia could feel in their bones, looking back later after they had been together for a long time. Cameron would say that the reason behind his secrecy had been both understandable and unnecessary. Understandable because protecting something precious is a natural human instinct, and his friendship with Sophia had been precious enough to make the risk of honesty feel unbearable for years. But unnecessary because the thing he had been most afraid of, losing Sophia by telling her how he felt, turned out to be the opposite of what actually happened. Telling her the truth had not pushed her away, it had brought her closer, had opened up the possibility of a relationship that was even more meaningful and more intimate than the friendship had been. The story of Cameron and Sophia is a reminder that sometimes the reasons behind our secrecy make perfect sense in the moment, but look different with hindsight. Fear of loss is powerful, powerful enough to keep us silent for years, even when that silence causes its own kind of pain. But staying silent has costs too. Costs that accumulate over time until the weight of carrying hidden feelings becomes heavier than the risk of revealing them. And sometimes, though certainly not always, the person we are afraid to be honest with is harboring the same feelings, maintaining the same silence, for the same reasons. Sometimes the risk we are most afraid to take is exactly the risk we most need to take to get to the life and the love we actually want. So if someone is preparing to disclose feelings they have harbored for you, try to understand the courage that disclosure requires. Try to appreciate all the reasons behind their secrecy, the fears and doubts and considerations that kept them quiet for however long they stayed quiet. Whether you share those feelings or not, honor their bravery in finally speaking up, in choosing vulnerability over safety, in risking everything for the possibility of something real and honest and true.